Colorado's largest wildfire fighting units is in it to protect its own and no one else's homes. The healing is not over for victims of violence when they leave the emergency room.
It is really amazing to see a patient come back after something so horrible happened.
A new clinic dedicated to survivors is planning for months and years of care. You have some very good questions about how Colorado's vaccine sweepstakes will work. We've got answers. And a memorial to the Coloradans lost in war is literally crumbling apart ahead of Memorial Day. But I am absolutely certain that we can fix it together, because this is next. You know, it won't be long before we hear that there are Coloradans who are being evacuated ahead of this wildfire or that. Families race out, the fire crews race in. Our Marshall Zellinger looks into the growing industry of private firefighters working for insurance companies.
We've become too familiar with these images, homes being destroyed by Colorado wildfires. Now, insurance companies are providing proactive fire protection to prevent having to replace a home destroyed by fire.
Wildfire Defense Systems has grown to become the equivalent of the third largest wildfire agency in the United States.
David Torgerson is the CEO of Wildfire Defense Systems, which provided these photos. WDS firefighters are not sent out to put out a wildfire. They're sent, often miles from the active fire, to protect the homes of people signed up with insurance companies that contract with WDS.
We'll often leave a card to say that we've been there. There may be some telltale signs. Maybe the firewood supply is stacked a little differently when it comes back. Maybe they'll find that there's some vegetative wildfire retardant that may have been sprayed around the edge of their property on the natural vegetation, which will fade away in just a matter of a couple of weeks. Last year was 161 wildfires that we responded to on behalf of the insurance industry.
It protects our customers' homes. It helps State Farm control our exposures to wildfire.
There it is. Money. Look at the amount of money fires have cost insurance companies in Colorado. The East Troublesome fire last year is estimated to cost $543 million in insured losses. Number 2 is Waldo Canyon in Colorado Springs in 2012. Converted into today's money, $509 million. The most expensive fires on this list are over the last decade.
Insurance companies are doing a risk analysis.
Gary Brees, the executive director of the Colorado State Fire Chiefs, points out insurance-based firefighting is kind of how firefighting used to be.
A fire mark in the 18th and 19th century was put on the building as a result of the building being insured. It told the volunteer fire departments at the time that if they fought this fire, that they would be paid by that insurance company. And homes or businesses that did not have fire marks on them, meaning they weren't insured, probably got less than desirable service.
The mission is to serve those insured properties, but the ethic is to do the right thing.
As I was doing this story, my insurance company sent me a letter recently saying that I have that coverage at no cost, warning that it doesn't mean the service will be provided or that it will prevent damage. I asked a spokesperson for this company if I don't want it living in an urban setting, can I get rid of it? And the answer was yes, but you don't get a discount to remove it, just like you're not charged to have it.
Marshall, I am still trying to get my mind around this fire mark thing. Like, I thought I knew a decent amount about history. I have never heard that before. The buildings would have markers telling the firefighters, oh, you should save this one, we'll repay you.
I need to do a whole story on that, and I thought from the East Coast, you might know that better than me, but this goes back. Many buildings on the East Coast have these, and they might be worth a lot of money, and I know a lot of firefighters have these as mementos, but yes, there was that symbol on the building that said, you'll get paid to fight this fire, maybe not that one.
That might be an urban East Coast thing, Marshall. I grew up in a farm town. I'm pretty sure that they were not markers saying somebody's got a chunk of change behind this building. Marshall, thank you. So the concerns publicly stated of some members of Denver's Black and Latino communities have not appeared to faze Denver's school board one bit in their slowdown of a search for the new superintendent, because less than a week after those community leaders came out publicly, told DPS to pump the brakes on this search, well, today, board announced a new superintendent. Dr. Alex Marrero was previously the interim superintendent in New Rochelle, New York. None of the 3 DPS finalists had ever been a full-time superintendent before. That was one of the concerns from community advocates. You had a group of 40 Latino and Black community leaders who called on DPS to keep looking for a better candidate who could be a better fit for a diverse district. We asked the board today what it says that they pushed ahead anyway, pretty quickly announcing their choice despite those stated concerns.
The board is really proud in being able to have reviewed concerns, hopes, fears, sentiments from our community to build the process that we created. We were able to include different stakeholders in this process to not only have their voices raised and elevated, but for us to receive their feedback so we can make this selection. In regards to the time, we took a good amount of time. As you know, we are also in a landscape where a few districts were looking for superintendents, and the time that we took, again, was to honor our community, their wishes, and their voices.
John Bailey with the Colorado Black Roundtable is one of the community leaders who called for a new superintendent search last week. Today, he said at this point, the community should come together, respect the board's decision, and focus on what matters most.
It's not about adults, it's about the kids. And so as an adult, a veteran adult, maybe one of the older adults in the room, it's important that wisdom sets forth and not personal animosity, contention. Those are things that we don't need in the district right now.
Board will vote to confirm Dr. Marrero next Thursday. Almost 43% of Coloradans currently have completed the vaccination process. Then you got another 450,000 people waiting on their second dose. That should take us up around the 50% mark. So we're nearing 3 million people who have at least one shot. Our state's test positivity rate is still going down, now at a low point that we have not seen since the fall. Yesterday's was 2.7%. Our 7-day rolling average continues to head in the right direction, down, down, down. It is now at 3.2%. Governor Polis had barely stopped shouting about the not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 vaccine sweepstakes drawings the state's going to do for people who are vaccinated. And already you started peppering us with questions. There is $1 million on the line, so questions are fair. Every vaccinated Coloradan is eligible to win this money. So let's spin through some of your questions and the answers we found. No, Yolanda, it's not a HIPAA violation. The state health department is notified of each vaccination, but you can request to have your name excluded from the Colorado Immunization Information System, or SIS. Yes, Sally, Denise, Carol, you are eligible if you got your shot out of state, but you will need to contact SIS to have them add your record. There are details in this story on 9news.com. Jamie and Larry, hold on. Sweepstakes does not currently include people who got their shots from the federal government, but the state says they're working on it. No, Michael, Coloradans who got the shot through a vaccine trial are not sweepstakes eligible right off the bat, but you can follow up with your provider and ask that they add your record to the state system. And yes, Corky, you can check to make sure that your vaccination is on file through the SIS public portal, so spin on over and take a look. There are not many public gatherings for Memorial Day this year, but the Colorado Freedom Memorial in Aurora is going to have a crowd there. The folks who gathered there on Saturday morning for a ceremony may notice that a portion of that memorial, the memorial that lists the names of the 6,000 Coloradans killed in war, part of that memorial is currently crumbling. Our Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign this week is our chance to all chip in a little bit, and I think together we can cover the cost of repairs to that first-of-its-kind memorial. The Colorado Freedom Memorial off 6th near Airport Boulevard in Aurora is a beautiful place, especially early and late in the day as the sun illuminates the glass panels. But there you see the issue. It's the granite foundation that is coming away after a number of years. This damage is repairable, but it's going to be an expensive project, and it's going to eat into the funds that the Freedom Memorial could better use to expand its programs and its events out there. So I'm thinking for Memorial Day, in honor of those who have served and sacrificed from our state, and I think as importantly, in support of all of the Gold Star families that go out and visit the Freedom Memorial, I'm thinking that we could all chip in and cover the cost of the repairs out there. So first estimates that they got is that the project could cost $30,000 to $50,000. And I think that we can raise that by Memorial Day and maybe even a little bit more so that we can keep the Colorado Freedom Memorial a beautiful and special place for years to come. Text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 and I will send you that link to donate. And of course, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 that come in. The Colorado Freedom Memorial was the first of its kind in America, a memorial to all of the state's service members lost, every name, every war. This Memorial Day weekend, let's repair it for many more Memorial Days to come. Hospitals usually send folks home when they're physically healing. Yet, if they're injured by violence, invisible injuries can remain.
Specialized care for patients affected by violence is, I think, still, relatively new.
A first for Colorado Clinic is offering up essential follow-ups for survivors. And a story about a bear that became infamous across Colorado, a prime specimen of a species that we are sure, well, pretty sure, doesn't live around here anymore. Next. Recovery for survivors of violence and traumatic events is obviously difficult and can obviously take time. There's a new program trying to heal survivors' body and mind. Our Victoria De Leon takes a look.
People inside these hospital walls heal every day. Some wounds need more attention than others.
Specialized care for patients affected by violence is, I think, still, relatively new.
Dr. Christine Foot-Lucero manages the forensic nurse program at UC Health. Her team treats patients who have experienced violence, ranging from sexual assault to physical abuse, even gunshot wounds and stabbings, but the list goes on.
Well, yes, the emergency room staff can absolutely care for those patients. We have additional training on some of the nuanced situations of those patient populations that won't be addressed in a busy emergency department.
In April, UC Health opened a clinic that offers follow-up check-ins for patients whose physical wounds leave lingering trauma.
We need to be able to talk openly about safety and about how to get proper health care and what next steps look like.
Dr. Foot-Lucero hopes these resources will help start a bigger conversation around the fact that violence can affect anybody. According to researchers at UC Health, 1 in 7 people in Colorado experience relationship violence.
Everybody is affected across every gender, race, socioeconomic status. And so we need to open the dialogue and we need to discuss it more.
Through this follow-up clinic, doctors are able to make sure their patients are also healing mentally and emotionally after experiencing trauma.
We're able to really help meet a lot of those needs and address those things that could have fallen through the cracks.
She says this clinic stays busy, but that just means people are getting the help they need. For Next, I'm Victoria De Leon.
UC Health told Victoria they don't want people to avoid follow-up treatment because of concerns about cost. They said that they can help find resources for that. And in some cases, the bills can be written off.
In spite of the cloud cover today, temperatures warm in the mid-70s. Fuel for thunderstorms that are strong and dangerous on the far northeastern plains. Tornado watch remains in effect for Ray, Sterling, Lamar. Storms are moving quickly along the I-76 corridor with 1-inch diameter hail. Temperatures tomorrow will be seasonal, back in the mid-70s, and we'll continue to watch this upper air disturbance cross northern Colorado for the threat for a few more thunderstorms late in the day. As we move through tonight, we've got fair skies and temperatures in 50s. We've got sunshine and 75 tomorrow, 81 Friday. Thunderstorms are a part of the weekend forecast, and yes, that means the holiday on Monday. Plan those outdoor activities early in the day. Memorial Day, the high only 60.
It's not a tall tale.
We used to have grizzlies here, and this is a story of a very scary grizzly.
They called him the king of the grizzlies. Several Coloradans who came across him did not live to tell about it. Our Mike Grady explores the story from the safe distance of time with a banjo in hand. Next. Grizzly bears are almost certainly gone from Colorado. I say it like that because we thought the last one was dead in 1951, and then a grizzly mauled a hunter in the San Juans in 1979. No sign of him since '79, nothing confirmed. earlier Coloradans sure feared them because grizzlies don't fear us. There was one grizzly so infamous, our Mike Grady decided to write a song about him. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ballad of Old Mose.
We used to have grizzlies here, and this is a story of a very scary grizzly.
Old Mose, a grizzly bear, wandering Colorado at the turn of the 20th century. Eating cows and scaring folks and ravaging the countryside. Old Mose, the grizzly bear, what a story.
Some said that he was named by two old-timers that were impressed with the way that he would mosey into a miner's camp and then scare the man witless and then mosey off.
Old Mosey killed some folks in southern Colorado, so some people started hunting him down. Warden Piggy caught him in a trap, he thought he had him, but old Mosey found his way out.
That's just the resilience of Old Mose. You know, he can get shot and survive. He's stuck in a trap, chew his own toes off and survive.
Old Mose, the grizzly bear, didn't roam free for long before Warden Piggy mustered up his posse. His friend Mr. Anthony shot the beast and killed him dead. Old Mose, the grizzly bear, what a story.
When he was eventually killed was that they looked at, Mr. Pig looked at the feet and was like, yeah, there's two toes missing.
Old Mose, the grizzly bear, what a story.
Almost 5 years of next. That's our first song via banjo ballad. Loved it. That was great, Mike. About 15 years ago, so long after Old Mose was into the land of legend, Adams State changed its school mascot to the Grizzlies. If you go to the campus in Alamosa, you'll find a statue of Old Mose. Here is our periodic reminder, mostly for me, also for you if you're into it, a reminder that if you appreciate somebody, tell them that. Longtime volunteer with Jeffco Public Schools woke up to a surprise on his front lawn this week. Mr. Gutierrez, Mr. Goots, to his students, is so loved by the fifth graders at Wilmot Elementary in Evergreen that they left dozens of pinwheels with messages in his yard and a sign telling him just how much he means to them. His daughter tells us that Mr. Goots has volunteered with the schools in Evergreen and Conifer for more than 25 years. And now he knows how they feel. 6,000 Coloradans' names etched in glass. The Colorado Freedom Memorial is one of a kind. That's why it's worth repairing on this Memorial Day weekend. We can do it together. Next. Everyone is invited out to the Colorado Freedom Memorial in Aurora on Saturday for a ceremony. In-person, outdoor event. It'd be nice to get together with some people. Whether you can make it out there or not, I would invite you to join me and a bunch of other Next viewers in helping to repair that memorial's crumbling granite foundation. It's an issue out there that can be fixed. It's just going to take some money. And it's actually right about the amount of money that we tend to raise together each week through your Word of Thanks microgiving campaign. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to do some good in our community. If you text THANKS to 303-871-1491, I'll send you that link to donate. Listen, a little bit, $5, $10, $15, $20 from a lot of people, that has gotten the job done for nonprofits in our community time and time again. And I am confident it is going to be Next viewers who are able to look back and say, together, we fixed the Colorado Freedom Memorial. Got a text question tonight on whether these Word of Thanks donations are tax deductible. Yes, every single one of our recipients is a registered nonprofit, so if you itemize your taxes, always tax deductible. And the nicest note from a guy named Julius who says his family moved to Denver just before the pandemic and appreciated being welcomed into this home. You are most welcome. We'll see you next time.